Yes, it's the new year and we are just about to hit all our hopes, our resolutions, and this economic capsule for 2023 is entitled Belief. We just want to show you that Puerto Rico did it before, and you have to believe that we can do it again. The first graph that I'm depicting for you is real economic growth in Puerto Rico. As you can see here on the left-hand side is real economic growth without any inflation from 1960 to 1970. That's the best decade for Puerto Rico, a decade of effervescence, of positive. It was just doing it by our bootstraps. And here from 1960, all these columns indicate the real rates of growth that we depicted. And notice, we had 8.1% in 1970, 8.1% real term. We had 6%, we had 5%. I mean, what could Puerto Rico not do? Because we were champions in terms of our economic growth and our destiny. Now, let's look at the graph on the right-hand side, and let's look at these past two decades, decade and a half, from 2007 through 2021. It's all below that horizontal line, which is a zero line. It's all negative growth with very few exceptions. It's negative 1.2, it's negative 4.2 just after Hurricane Maria in fiscal year 2018. And we have not been able to surpass this cycle of depression, this cycle of economic incompetence and governance, to the point that Congress mandated in 2016 that Puerto Rico could not handle its own and manage its own fiscal affairs, and that it could not pay its public debt, and it mandated a law promesa whereby it allowed Puerto Rico to renegotiate its debt under bankruptcy proceedings. But that has an end to it, and we just want to depict for you that belief, because we did it before. What is it now that is restraining us from achieving those real economic growth rates that we did in the past? And we will talk about this in a little while. But now notice this second graphs, which are the economic transformation of Puerto Rico. Back in 1960, we only had about $1.6 billion in real GNP, whereas today, or nominal GNP, whereas today, 2021, it's 100 times that, 107.1 billion. What a transformation in all these 5 decades. Back in 1960, manufacturing accounted for 22%, agriculture 10%, services 30%, construction 6%, trade, retail and wholesale 20%, and the government, which is that green segment, was 11%. Let's move fast forward. 2021, that's the latest figures that we have for GNP, 107.1 billion. And notice how we grew manufacturing, which was from lace, from this, it was just textiles, it was apparel. Well, we graduated into petrochemicals, we graduated into pharmaceuticals, into medical instruments, into professional instruments, and certainly Puerto Rico, housing for manufacturing for many of the world's best known Prozac as well as Viagra, all of it manufactured here in Puerto Rico. So we had like 48% of our GNP manufacturing, 2 out of every $3 of exports manufacturing. Well, agriculture 0.7%, dramatic, from 10% back in the 60s to 0.7%. Maybe we are going to pay very dearly for that, because we do need now Puerto Rico to be safe in terms of its food supply, and we need really to take care of it, because we are an island, and certainly it makes it more and more difficult to get all these high prices of food prices that are coming from outside, be it from US as well as other parts of the world. The other segment that has also grown dramatically is services, from 30% back in the 60s to 37.3%. We include their transportation, utilities, we include their finance, insurance, and real estate. All those medical services, professional services are included there. So dramatic manufacturing and services, this economy evolving, but certainly not with the same pace of economic growth as we did depicted before. The government, hopefully it's 4.8% compared to 11% then, but now it's a 4.8% of a huge $107.1 billion, whereas before it was just 11% out of $1.6 billion. And finally, let's look at the key as to what has been happening in terms of Puerto Rico growing its dependence on federal funds. And that may be the key for our lackluster in economic growth. We have been so dependent on this strategy of the helping hand, extend the helping hand. We have a hurricane, hey, Uncle Sam, help us. We have healthcare issues, hey, Uncle Sam, issues, more Medicaid funds. Uncle Sam, we have earthquakes, we have COVID, we have unemployment. We need help from you. So Uncle Sam has been sending us, I think with good intentions, but so is hell paved with good intentions. And that really has taken some of this energy and this will to grow by our own bootstraps. And this graph depicts, the columns are the transfers, federal transfers, that includes of course Social Security and Medicare, for which we pay. But there are the food stamps programs, we have housing, we have other welfare payments for which Puerto Rico does not pay as such as you do with Social Security and Medicare. And the orange line is those transfers as a percentage of personal income. We can discuss that maybe personal income, according to national accounts, is not well accounted for because there may be a very large underground economy. Be that as it may be, we have had an increase from 13%, that dependence on federal funds for our personal income, to now 41%, and that has been sustained, especially since 1975 when we had the food stamp program. So definitely we need to address this dependence on federal funds because it's not assisting Puerto Rico in terms of wanting to believe that we can do it. Don't forget, if you like our economic capsules, to give us a like in one of these capsules, and to subscribe to the Voice of Heidie Calero. It is already the start of the new year. We can really believe that we can do it. Don't forget that this is a service of Puerto Rico Economic Pulse, and that the economy is all of us. Thank you.